finals is finally getting the push it deserves tonight on Twitch Rivals. For those of you who don't know, the core game mode is cash out. Cash out is a system where you have to go collect a vault. The vault's worth money. You take the money as a team to a cash out point. You defend it for a set period of time. If you defend it long enough without it getting stolen, you cash out that money. The team at the end of the game with the most money wins. That's how the finals works. That's the core game mode. Recently, they made a bit of a questionable decision that no one really fully understood. They decided to they added a requirement for new players when they first download the game to play a different game mode they added in season 2 called Terminal Attack, which is a system where you have to it's like a 5v5 game mode, like Counter-Strike / Search and Destroy, single life elimination mode, round-based game type. Much slower in the way it played, very, very different to Cash Out, and left a lot of the community very confused as to why they decided to do that. Because obviously the core mode is cash out, and if you see the core mode on TV, you see it on like YouTube or on Twitch, you're going to want to play that mode. So having to sit through a load of a different game mode would feel very confusing and probably likely turn you off as a player. People, including myself, who love this game and want to see it succeed, were a little bit surprised they did this. And luckily, I mean, this Twitch Rivals event, imagine you watch the Twitch Rivals event, you see this like huge streamer playing this game that you've seen around. Maybe I'll try it out now. Now I'm seeing this huge amount of people watching it. Maybe I'll try it. But then the reality of what happens is very different. You load up the game, you play that Terminal Attack. That would be really annoying. So luckily they have listened. I don't know if they listened to anybody or they'd always planned to do this. Either way, today they actually reinstated just the normal order. You haven't got you do not have to play Terminal Attack before you play the game. You now can just go straight into Cash Out. None of the modes are locked by requirements. You can play whatever you want by loading up the game. And I think that's just a brilliant decision. I mean, it also just begs the question, why on earth did they ever add this requirement? I don't think we'll ever really know. There's a lot of speculation around there, and I don't think that's very helpful. A lot of people will tell you a lot of different reasons as to why they decided to do this, and I don't think anyone really truly knows. Like, it's largely just, it's a great way to get people to pay attention to you, either in a video or either, I don't know, in a comment section, whatever it is. If you claim to have the answers, then people will listen to you, which I think is a bit, that's just the way of the internet. That's how it works. But I think I'm not going to speculate as to why they did that. I don't think it's really that meaningful. It is interesting though, like in terms of whether they did it to kind of like, maybe they were trying to just sell something new about the game and try to draw in new players. The season 3 like peak of players was 31,000. This is down from like 45,000 plus for season 2. So it didn't necessarily bring back a huge amount of players, and maybe that took the pressure off, maybe in terms of just, dropping that requirement, because I think there's a lot of what you might call like a swing player in gaming. There's a player that kind of will dip into your game occasionally, and if that's then met with a huge amount of like negative not marketing, but negative kind of community vibes, then that's going to maybe stop you loading up the game as much. Be like, okay, which generally subconsciously your kind of attitude towards the game will be one of maybe more negativity than positivity. And ultimately, like, video games have to be excellent and fun, which this game is. So when you see it being made less excellent and fun for really no known reason, it would maybe put you off playing that game. And I think maybe they've made the wise decision here to sort of listen to all of that feedback and be like, look, the most engaged players with this game see this as maybe a bad idea. I mean, the people who see this game as being a fantastic new game, me included, it just didn't make any sense to steer away from Cash Out. That's what makes this game so unique and so brilliant. But it'll be really cool tonight to watch the Twitch Rivals. I wanted to come on here and talk a little bit about the finals, about the things that maybe I think that it could really do with to maybe take it to the next level. Because I think a lot of I don't want to make like the finals needs this. It's not that it needs it. The game is still great. But to be financially viable, it's going to have to keep maintaining its player base, draw in new players, ideally grow. And I think that more than anything, it just needs to keep what's so unique about this game, which is the fun, the speed, the destruction, the chaos. We can't have that being downplayed moving forward. That's what, in my mind, makes this game great. Anyway, so the things I want to talk about primarily is the things that this game sort of would benefit from. And I think the number one thing this game would benefit from is exactly the sort of thing we're going to see in this Twitch Rivals event. So this game, ultimately, because it's a multiplayer FPS game, it undoubtedly becomes a very competitive game. That's just the nature of multiplayer FPS. If you make a free-to-play multiplayer FPS, some people are going to want to be the best players, and that's not something that should be discouraged. That's something that I think should be, like, if anything, it should be enabled and encouraged an awful lot. And so the Twitch Rivals is a good maybe starting point to see some people who don't necessarily play this game a lot, but it will be a kind of competitive tournament. I mean, there's money on the line. First place is going to win, as a team, will win $15,000. right down to 8th place. I mean, 8th place are going to get money anyway. They're going to get $2,000. So people are not going away empty-handed. It's worth their time. But ultimately, the thing that I think this game needs is more emphasis on the competitive players. Now, I don't want to be one of these, and I make a lot of variety content and all sorts of things. I really do love this game, so I thought I'd make this video about this. I don't want to be a star. I don't want to be like the face of the finals. I don't want to be the voice of the finals. I don't want to be, I mean, I'm happy to be associated with it. I love it. But there's some people out there who love this game. They stream it all day, every day. They make videos every single day. And those people who are like the best players, they need to start emerging from the community and become known. And so tournaments and things like this, not like what we have now. So right now there's this World Tour leaderboard, which is like the total money you cash out, you'll place higher on the leaderboard. Now, I don't think that's necessarily what I mean. I mean like a kind of a classic kind of skill points ranking system. I think that's the sort of thing that we've seen in other games where you have a leaderboard emerge, you have like a top 500 where they get a special badge. I mean, this has existed in the finals as well. So that's what I like. But I think moreover, more tournaments and things like this, and maybe kind of interest, and because that will galvanize interest, and then you'll start to make stars. If you have tournaments, you invite people along for a set amount of money. Obviously, this costs an awful lot of money to put on, so that could be a prohibitive factor. But if you can put on these huge tournaments, or even just start to make content where you start to see these top players emerge in the community, and you really lean into that, and you try to make some stars, some real stars in the game, because you want someone who's new to the game to be able to watch the best players in the world. It needs to be immediately obvious who they are. And so you see that in other esports as a really successful mechanism for the game growing hugely. For example, Call of Duty and Scump. Scump's watch parties get more viewership on Call of Duty than the Call of Duty CDL streams themselves. That shows you the power of a stardom, like a star, that stardom, that draw. I think it's so important to take a game from kind of like just to another level of viewership, of players. And that's the kind of thing that a live service game is going to need to survive. It's going to need more interest in it. Now, there's like traditional marketing, there's like YouTube ads, there's all the rest of it. I mean, you've seen a lot of that, things like Twitch Rivals, but leaning into that community of content creators and giving them opportunities to be involved with things, to draw more audiences, is definitely something that I think we need to see more of. And that's something that Twitch Rivals is obviously an indication towards, and that's a fantastic thing to see. I don't know whether those players are going to continue to play the game afterwards or even their audiences, but either way, I think this is the sort of thing you want to see, because this is going to generate hype. You know, you see the likes of like Dota, the International. These are like crowd-funded, in-game funded tournaments to the tunes of millions of dollars. Why not run like a skin, for example, where all the proceeds from that skin over a year go towards a massive tournament at the end of the year? That'll keep everybody grinding. You know, people who love the game like me will probably buy that skin to contribute. That's your prize fund at the end of the season. And you've got this amazing run up to this annual event that just generates so much money. I think that's how the Dota International works. So this is the sort of thing I think that it needs. There's definitely a good amount of game modes now, different ways to play the game, a growing pool of maps, which are all really fun to play. There are no maps I dislike, really. They play quite differently. They are all visually incredible and beautiful. And it's just such a unique, brilliant game mode that this game could just, it just has such potential. It really does. So I hope that over the next few months, maybe moving forward for the next few seasons, more of an emphasis on that community, on that building a pro community, kind of giving them opportunities to emerge and develop. It would be awesome to see this game take it to the next level. I just think that without like going all in and hog wild on the competitive scene, you're not going to develop as much of a social scene. It's going to be much less held up in high regard. Ultimately, this is a FPS game that's very, very fun. So like if someone sees like an amazing player playing it, they hop on for a little bit, they're going to have fun regardless. They're not going to play like them, but they're going to have a great time. You know, have a tournament playlist with no SBMM in it. Have a ranked tournament playlist with loads of SBMM in it, obviously. And then you have this like social way of playing the game and a ranked way of playing the game. This is how like Halo used to work back in the day. Halo, you'd have the social playlist where you could have like great fun. You could just meme. You could like just have such a good time in those social playlists like Big Team Battle all these sorts of shotty snipers, all these game types. It was so good. But then you also had that ranked element to dive in and play MLG. And, you know, people knew like Snipe Down. They knew the Ogre Twins. Look these people up if you don't know who they are. Pistola. You know, all the people on Straight Ripping. I'm talking T Squared. I'm talking, you know, legit. Elamite Warrior. These people, you know, people in the community knew them. And that created such a die-hard fan base of fans. And that's the kind of thing that I think is not quite there at the moment. We got to lean more heavily into that. Anyway, I just wanted to come in here and talk about it. It's awesome that they decided to, you know, drop the requirement to play Terminal Attack, you know, focusing more on just, you know, if you see the game tonight on Twitch Rivals, you can load up the game and play it. That's a brilliant decision from them. And I just hope that moving forward, if they want to see more growth, they should maybe lean in a little bit more to the competitive elements of this game and try to build those stars and build that kind of, you know, reason, people you want to aspire to, people that you kind of see as like, wow, look at those people. Because games live on those people. Look at Imperial Hal in Apex. Look at Scump in Call of Duty. I mean, you see it time and time again. Even in Halo, you could argue that people like T Squared, people like, you know, all the people on Straight Ripping, these like legendary teams, Final Boss, the Ogre Twins, Walshy. Like Walshy, arguably like one of the first esports stars, like one of the first. There were many others, but one of the first. Like a kind of, I mean, I think he won like a lifetime achievement award. I think some sort of esports award. So like that just tells you, you know, that's what takes these games to another level. And that's what I think this game needs. Who are those people? Who will they be? That excites me. That is something I think would be cool to know. And I'm going to stop rambling because I feel like I'm repeating myself. But if you found this interesting, do drop a like, do subscribe. I play a range of games. I do stream the finals fairly frequently. So if you want to come watch me play the game, do that. But yeah, in the meantime, guys, thank you very much for watching. And I'll see you guys next time.